Hello and welcome back to the channel. Welcome to another episode of TEW 2020 WWE here. We are continuing on the road to the final pay-per-views of 2021, Armageddon and NXT Takeover WarGames. And we're kicking things off as usual with Monday Night Raw. Raw getting underway here with the Undisputed Era making their way out to the ring. Adam Cole, Kyle O'Reilly, Bobby Fish and Roderick Strong for an 84 here. Then Adam Cole gets on the mic and he talked about last week. He said that, did Kevin Owens think he was stupid enough to come alone? He said Kevin Owens is clearly a bigger idiot than Adam Cole even thought he was. Kevin Owens, his taunts, his insults, that's not why Adam Cole accepted the match. Adam Cole was always going to accept the match because he knew he had his boys ready to teach Kevin Owens a lesson for everything he's done. You see Kevin Owens can walk around here like he owned the place, like he's owed something, but he's not. The only thing he's owed is another ass kicking from the Undisputed Era for an 89 here. And then they are interrupted by Sami Zayn, the man who came out to save Kevin Owens last week, comes onto the stage, mic in hand, and he has had enough. He says he's had enough of sitting backstage and watching the Undisputed Era run roughshod over Raw, and he challenges Adam Cole. He says Adam Cole's the WWE champion. Adam Cole thinks he's the best in the world. But if you ask these fans want Sami Zayn. These fans love Sami Zayn. These fans need Sami Zayn for an 80 here. Sami Zayn challenging Adam Cole, and Adam Cole saying no. Says that Sami Zayn, much like Kevin Owens, has done nothing to deserve what he's asking for. He doesn't deserve to fight the WWE champion. He doesn't deserve to go toe-to-toe in the ring with Adam Cole, baby. But you know what, Sami? After what you did last week, you need to be taught a lesson too, just like we did to your little friend Kevin last week. So you know what? Tonight, you can fight Roddy. You can fight Roderick Strong, and he'll teach you a lesson for me for an 82. So match later tonight, Roderick Strong of the Undisputed Era taking on Sami Zayn. Sure to be a great match between those two great competitors. And then we head backstage to The Miz preparing for his match later tonight when Fairchild walks in and wishes him good luck. Both of them being quite condescending, both of them smugly smiling at each other. Fairchild says that he'll be at ringside again to watch The Miz, see how he gets on for an 87 here. I mean, great work as usual from these two guys. Very good talkers, the pair of them. As next up we have a singles match. It is Lacey Evans taking on Zoe Stark Carmella at ringside for Evans. And Zoe Stark picks up the win with that belly to back GTS. Zoe Stark's first singles victory here in WWE for the 58. Very, very good from Zoe Stark here. Good match between these two. 54 Evans, 44 Stark. Stark getting the win over Evans, and then after the match, Carmella leaving Evans in the ring alone. Evans asking for help with Carmella saying no. Carmella clearly not impressed with Evans' defeat here to one of Raw's newest additions, Zoe Stark. As we head backstage to Sami Zayn being interviewed by Kayla Braxton. Kayla asking Sami about the main event tonight, taking on Roderick Strong, and Sami says he's ready. He says he knows Roddy's a great competitor. He's great in that ring, but Sami Zayn is fired up. He's ready. And Sami Zayn says that he can't wait to get in the ring with Roderick Strong because he's going to show Strong exactly what he's going to do to Adam Cole when he gets the chance, because it's time someone finally stood up to the Undisputed Era. And if that's got to be Zayn, so be it. For a 75 here, Sami, great on the mic as usual. No surprise there, really. As next up, we have the first of two United States Championship qualifying matches. The USL vacant. Both superstars from Raw and SmackDown getting a chance to fight for the belt. So there's two triple threat matches tonight. And this is the first of them. It is Aleister Black, Bobby Lashley and The Miz in a triple threat match. The winner of this taking on a SmackDown superstar to be decided on this week's episode of SmackDown. And all three men going at it. The brutal in-ring style of Aleister Black, the strength of Bobby Lashley, and the cunningness of The Miz. All three of them want this championship match. All of them want to be United States champion. And The Miz kind of gets taken out, and Bobby Lashley and Aleister Black just going at each other, hitting the hell out of each other. In the end, Cedric Alexander getting onto the ring apron, distracting Black, hitting a black mass on Cedric, taking him down, but the distraction allowing Lashley to lock the hurt lock onto Aleister Black. Aleister Black struggling, trying to get out, but he slowly starts to fade. When out of nowhere, The Miz slides into the ring, grabs Lashley's arms, which are already in position, remember, in the hurt lock, and hits both men with a skull, kind of hits Hits a skull-crushing finale on Lashley. Lashley landing on Black. Lashley then rolling off Black and allowing The Miz to cover him for a 1-2-3. Your winner, The Miz, pinning Aleister Black here. I mean, Lashley doing all the hard work, really, taking Aleister Black out with that hurt lock, but The Miz stealing the victory. Frederick Fairchild watching on from ringside, you know, giving a little applause to The Miz, you know. Miz winning, but Fairchild not too impressed, really, for a 77 here. 83 Black, 67 Lashley, 66 Miz. Happy with this. Good match between these three superstars as The Miz advances in the tournament. Then we have a little break. Heading backstage, we have the Celtic Warriors being interviewed by Kayla Braxton. You know, Drew talking about beating Ciampa last week, taking him out. And that's what the Celtic Warriors do. That's what champions do. And he says that Ciampa has the hardcore title. And if he's not careful and he doesn't stop running his mouth, Drew might just come back, beat him again, and take that from him when Dunn walks by. And he says the only reason McIntyre won that match against Ciampa is because of him providing a distraction. McIntyre not taking too kindly for that. McIntyre and Dunn kind of getting into a shoving match. They start brawling. Sheamus obviously there helping McIntyre. Numbers advantage on Dunn when Matt Riddle runs in and helps Dunn out, and all four men just brawling it out here, eventually being separated for an 86. Things heating up here in this Raw Tag Team Hardcore Title Championship picture. Really good backstage segment here for that 86 though. As next up we have the second United States Championship Triple Threat qualifying match. It's Daniel Bryan taking on the fabulous Frederick Fairchild. The Miz, after his win, staying at ringside to watch Fairchild now. And also Kyle O'Reilly as the third. Triple Threat, Bryan, Fairchild, O'Reilly. And in the end, Daniel Bryan picks up the win, forcing the fabulous Frederick Fairchild to tap out with the LaBelle lock. Kyle O'Reilly fought so hard, wants to get that United States title back, but will not be progressing further, will not get the chance to fight for his gold. Kyle O'Reilly eliminated from the US tournament kind of thing going on here. And Daniel Bryan advancing. Daniel Bryan and The Miz, such history there. Maybe they'll meet in the US title final. We'll have to wait and find out. 85 in the match. Really, really great match between these three guys. 88 Bryan, 79 O'Reilly, and a 68 for Frederick Fairchild. Really happy with this. As Daniel Bryan gets the win, Fairchild tapping out, The Miz laughing, eventually getting up from his chair, continuing to laugh his way up the ramp. Fairchild, he looks angry, he's not happy. He lost, he was the one who tapped out for the loss. The Miz laughing at him. Not a good night for Frederick Fairchild here. As we head backstage to an interview with the Women's World Champion, Sasha Banks. And Sasha Banks is asked about last week Alexa Bliss becoming #1 contender to her title. And Sasha Banks says that little Alexa can, you know, she can come to Raw all on her lonesome and pretend she can hang with the big dogs around here. And, you know, she can beat Carmella and Lacey. And, I mean, that's easy work. Who couldn't do that? But now she's staying up to me. The leader, the pinnacle, the blueprint, the best, the boss. And, well, now Alexa Bliss is going to be brought down to earth. She's going to be reminded why she stayed in the tag division for so long, because when she gets in the ring with a singles competitor as amazing and incredible, great as Sasha Banks, all that will happen is she'll end up with her ass kicked. For an 86 here, a very clear message from Sasha Banks to her #1 contender, Alexa Bliss here. Before we head back to the ring for the main event of this evening, it is Roderick Strong of the Undisputed Era taking on Sami Zayn here. Zayn wanted Adam Cole, we didn't get him, but he's got Roderick Strong instead. And in the end, in the main event, Sami Zayn picks up the win, hitting Roderick Strong with the hell of a kick and covering him for the 1-2-3 for a 77. Good match between these two, happy with that. 75 for Zayn and a 68 for Strong, both doing well here. Sami Zayn picking up the win, he gets his arm raised and is then promptly jumped by the Undisputed Era. Adam Cole and Bobby Fish attacking him, Roderick Strong getting to his feet and joining him. Kyle O'Reilly just had a brutal triple threat match with Daniel Bryan and Fairchild, so not joining in on this, but still the 3-on-1 numbers advantage for the UE here, beating down on Sami Zayn for an 83. When out rushes Kevin Owens and Montez Ford together, storming down to the ring and taking up the UE. Roderick Strong already pretty beat out, easy to take out, and then Montez Ford fighting with Fish and Owens fighting with Cole. Montez Ford clotheslining Fish over the top rope and Kevin Owens hitting a stunner onto Adam Cole, him selling the hell out of it and flying over the top rope into the arms of Strong and Fish at ringside. And then Owens helping Sami Zayn, reaching down and helping Sami Zayn to his feet, and the two men exchanging a look. And then that's how the show ends. Cole, Fish and Roderick Strong going up the ramp, nursing their wounds, whilst Owens, Zayn and Ford in the ring call for them to come back. This feud here between the UE and these guys, especially Owen, Zayn and Ford, heating up ever more as we approach Armageddon. 89 for that segment. Great way to end the show, as Raw overall here gets the 82. Decent episode of Raw here. I think Daniel Bryan, Fairchild and O'Reilly in the main event, that rating goes up to 86, 87. But still, Zayn strong made more sense, and I'm happy with the 82. Still a good show on Raw here, on the road to Armageddon. Happy with that. And hopefully we can have another good show next up as we continue the build up to WarGames with another episode of NXT. And NXT gets underway here with Seth Rollins making his way out to the ring. Seth Rollins drafted over to NXT in the WWE draft and made his official return last week, when after the main event he attacked the NXT champion Chad Gable and took him out with a curb stomp. He makes his way out for an 89 and he gets a mic and he starts talking and he brags about it. He says he took down the NXT champion, NXT's finest. How NXT has clearly dropped so far since he left, if that's the best they've got. He says Chad Gable is the latest in a long line of disappointments in undeserving champions, because no champion has or will ever be able to live up to the first and the greatest NXT champion, Seth Rollins. But it's okay, because he's back on NXT and he's here to take back what is his, to bring some prestige back to the NXT Championship. Seth Rollins won the NXT title since they got away. He's done it all. Royal Rumbles, Money in the Banks, WrestleMania, main events. He's done everything, but now he's back. And he is going to take the NXT Championship and bring some real meaning back to it. For an 88 when he is interrupted by Randy Orton. And Randy Orton takes umbrage to this. He says that Seth and him, they have history. They've been around each other a lot. They fought. Hell, they fought at WrestleMania. And well, that didn't go too well for Seth, but that's not what this is about. He says that Seth is the same snake he always was. Talking about bringing prestige to the NXT Championship. Talk about being the best, when the only way he could take down Chad Gable, the supposed lesser champion than he ever was by sneak attacking him after he just had a match and was attacked afterwards. And yet Seth wants to talk about being the best. That's just not the case, is it? And Seth Rollins says that Randy Orton is old and washed up. Randy Orton had his shot at the NXT Championship. He couldn't win it though, could he? No, he had 2 shots, didn't he? And he couldn't win either of them. Because Randy Orton's not got it anymore. He had his WWE title match at Mania, yeah. Randy Orton in the main event with the WWE title. Nice little nostalgia act, but those days are now well and truly over. And that's why Randy's here on NXT, not Raw or SmackDown, because they don't want him anymore. Because all he's good for is just to come out, put over the new guys, before slowly drifting away to whatever retirement home will take him. Randy Orton taking umbrage to this. Him and Seth continue going back and forth, and in the end they agree to a match tonight in the main event. Seth Rollins, Randy Orton, a big main event. Seth Rollins' official return to NXT in a match against Randy Orton. It's a hell of a way to return, isn't it? Against a hell of an opponent you have a lot of history with. Hopefully that match will be really good. 86 for that segment. Good start to the show, as then we head backstage and Cora Jade is a bit bummed out about last week, you know. The attack from Raquel Gonzalez. She's still a bit beat up, but Candice walks in and she says that she knows Jade's a bit down, but she has some great news. She's talked to William Regal and he's talked with Paige, and they've agreed that Candice LeRae and Cora Jade deserve a shot at the WWE Women's Championship after the Indy Hartwell Mickie James stuff, beating them, showing how well they work together as a tag team. They've decided that they've earned a shot and they will be getting it tonight. Cora Jade much happier later tonight. Cora Jade and Candice LeRae a shot at the Bloodlines, Naomi and Tamina, for the women's tag gold for a 52. Good segment here. Hopefully the match will do well later tonight. As next up we do have a different match. It's Indy Hartwell taking on Shotzi Blackheart. Mickie James at ringside for Hartwell, trying to give her advice, trying to mentor her, trying to lead her to victory here against Shotzi. The referee gets a bit distracted at one point. Mickie goes to hit Shotzi, but Shotzi moving out of the way and she accidentally hits Indy instead. Shotzi takes Mickie down, and then Shotzi Blackheart takes out Indy Hartwell with a diving senton to pick up the win. Shotzi Blackheart getting the victory here for a 54. Happy with this. 47 Hartwell, 47 Blackheart, both of them doing well here. But it's Shotzi picking up the win, following Mickie James accidentally hitting Hartwell instead of Blackheart. And then we go backstage where Kayla Braxton is interviewing the new NXT North American Champion, Carmelo Hayes. Carmelo Hayes can't believe it. He is so happy. He says the breakout tournament, he thought that would be his moment, but he came up short. But then this opportunity presented itself, Velveteen Dream's open challenge, and he knew he could do it. He had faith in himself. He's always had faith in himself. He went out there, he gave it everything he had, and he could see Dream didn't take him seriously. And that was Dream's downfall. Dream got too cocky, and that allowed Carmelo Hayes to roll him up. That allowed Hayes to get the win, and that allows Carmelo Hayes to stand here today with the NXT North American Championship over his shoulder, and he assures fans this is the first, but will definitely not be the last piece of gold in this company I hold in my hands. For a 62, then out of nowhere, Carmelo Hayes attacked from behind by Dexter Lumis. Dexter Lumis beating on Hayes, choking him out, holding him to the ground as Velveteen Dream leans down and taunts him. Says that he hopes Hayes is enjoying this 5 minutes of spotlight, but it's running out because he has the Dream's property, and so the Dream's going to take it back now. Velveteen Dream says Carmelo Hayes is a joke. He can't go toe-to-toe with the Dream. Thinking he can do so is just a dream of his, and that dream is over now. So you can leave and stay away from the Dream. For Velveteen Dream takes the NXT North American Championship. Him and Swerve walking out whilst Dexter Lumis gives a final blow to Hayes, knocking him out for a 70. Good segment here. Velveteen Dream clearly still very unhappy about losing that North American Championship to Carmelo Hayes. As next up, we have a singles match. It is Andrade taking on Nash Carter of MSK. A lot of beef between Legado and MSK. Nash Carter going one-on-one with the Cruiserweight Champion here. And Andrade picking up the win. Nash Carter giving it all he's got. He takes advantage for a little bit, but then the numbers game. Santos Escobar and Humberto Carrillo start attacking Wesley, distracting Carter, and allowing Andrade to hit La Sombra on him for the win for an 81. Really good matchup here. 85 Andrade, 48 Nash Carter. Really happy with this. And then Legado beating down on MSK, Nash Carter and Wesley, shouting they have no friends, they have no one, they're all alone here. When MSK's music starts playing, Legado are like, what's happening here? Are a bit surprised when out walks Trey Griffin, aka Trey Miguel, onto the ramp in an MSK shirt. The crowd going crazy. Legado not happy. Trey Griffin running into the ring. Legado trying to attack him, but him, very athletic, acrobating his way around the ring, taking out the Legado members, cleaning house, and helping his MSK brothers up. And then that's how the segment ends. MSK in the ring, looking out as Legado go up the ramp, unhappy. MSK, Nash Carter, and Wesley have backup in the form of a new signing, Trey Griffin here for a 66. Good segment. Trey Griffin making his debut and adding a little something extra to this Cruiserweight division, I think, that I'm looking forward to seeing. As then we go backstage to an interview with Damian Priest. Damian Priest talking about NXT and what's next for him. And he says that he's been thinking and he's been wondering and he's trying to find what's next for Damian Priest. And he said at that point that a very angry looking Karrion Kross walks by and bumps into Priest. Priest says, watch where you're going. And Karrion Kross stops. And he's already angry enough about losing to Chad Gable. Just turns around, storms into Priest, says, what did you say? And Priest says, watch where you're going. Priest not a man to back down from a fight, or to be easily intimidated. Kross shoving Priest, and Priest bundling into Kross, and the two men just brawling it out backstage, eventually being separated by security for a 72. Priest said he wonders what's next, and maybe, just maybe, it might be the former NXT champion Karrion Kross. As next up we have the Women's Tag Team Championship match. It is the Bloodline, Naomi and Tamina, defending their gold against Candice LeRae and Cora Jade. A new team, a mentor and mentee, looking to upset the odds and win the Women's Tag title here. They've proved they can work together, but can they come out on top in the end? They cannot. The Bloodline picking up the win here. Candice and Cora Jade giving a really good fight, but in the end Naomi using the ropes for leverage to pin Cora Jade. The ref not looking. Cheating from the Bloodline here, but they don't care. They've retained their titles. A 68 for the match. Really happy with that. Good match from these four. 69 Naomi, 59 Nia Jax, 55 Candice LeRae, 41 Jade. The Bloodline coming out on top, and then after the match, Tamina. I put Tamina. It's Nia Jax. Nia Jax holding down Candice LeRae and forcing her to watch as Naomi beats up Jade some more. Candice LeRae trying to fight out, but Nia Jax very strong, not letting her go. Naomi getting a steel chair and just wailing on Jade, who's screaming out in pain. Candice LeRae can't believe it. Eventually, the Bloodline seemingly getting bored and just leaving. Candice LeRae checking on Jade for a 65 here. The Bloodline coming out on top following that cheating, and then adding insult to injury, beating down on Jade to end this segment. As then we go backstage to an interview with Raquel Gonzalez as she talks about Survivor Series, beating Becky Lynch and Tegan Nox, pinning the man Becky Lynch clean, 1, 2, 3 in the middle of the ring. And she says she hopes she made it very clear to everyone now that Raquel Gonzalez is the NXT Women's Champion for a reason, and that's because she's the baddest mofo in this company, and no one can mess with her. And Tegan Nox walks in and she says she wants her shot one-on-one. She says Gonzalez didn't pin her. Gonzalez has never pinned her. And Nox wants her match. Raquel Gonzalez kind of laughing it off and saying, "You don't deserve it," before walking away for a 73 here. Good work from these two. Nox wanting that shot of Gonzalez. Will she get it? We'll have to wait to find out, but we won't have to wait to find out much longer to find out the results of the main event, because it is time for it. Randy Orton versus Seth Rollins. These two men have had a big rivalries in the past, and they're going head to head once more. Both men giving it everything they've got. Neither wants to lose to the other, of course. Seth Rollins, after all his talking, he wants an NXT Championship match, and you got to think he's got to at least beat. If he loses to Orton, his claim for that opportunity drastic goes down. But in the end, Orton setting up for the RKO, pounding on the floor when Timothy Thatcher's music hits, and Timothy Thatcher begins to walk down to the ring. Orton distracted a little bit, still kind of down in that pose from where he was banging on the floor, looking towards the ramp at Thatcher, but not seeing Seth Rollins getting to his feet before Seth Rollins hits him with the curb stomp to pick up the win. Seth Rollins defeating Randy Orton here following that Thatcher distraction. 91 for the match. Amazing match between these two, as you'd expect, to be honest. 85 Orton, 85 Rollins. Really, really pleased with this. As Seth Rollins does pick up the victory after the match. Seth Rollins and Thatcher beating down on Orton together. That curb stomp taking out of Orton. Not much strength to fight back here, as Rollins and Thatcher just attack him for an 86 before the music of the NXT champion Chad Gable hits, and he storms down to the ring. Rollins goes for a clothesline, but Chad Gable pulling the rope. Rollins flying out the ring. Thatcher going for Gable, but Gable hitting him with an Olympic slam and taking him out. Thatcher rolling out the ring. Gable ready for a fight, but Thatcher and Rollins deciding better of it here before Gable checking on Orton, who's getting to his feet for an 83 to end the show here. Good work to end the show. Rollins and Thatcher taking out Orton. Gable making the big save, though, for his mentor to end things. And overall, this week's episode of NXT gets an 89. Amazing episode of NXT here. The build-up to WarGames going really, really well. That main event from Rollins and Orton, superb. I'm really pleased. And hopefully we can end this week with similar ratings as we continue to build up to Armageddon with another episode of SmackDown. And SmackDown gets underway here with the entrance of the former Universal Champion and new number one contender to the Universal title, Big E, coming out for an 84 here. And Big E gets on the mic and he says he's ready. He says he's ready to win back that Universal Championship. He says that hooded figure wants to come and mess with him again, he'll deal with him. But he's not going to sit around and wait for another opportunity. He's taking it. That's what he did last week when he beat LA Knight, when he won the Fatal 4-Way match, when he earned a shot at the Universal Championship, and he's going to take it. He says at Armageddon, he gets it back. He gets his Universal Championship back for an 85 when he is interrupted by members of the Bullard brand, Thaddeus Bullard, Paul Heyman, Apollo Crews, Socrates, Torres, and Alfonso Bourbon, the men with the gold in the brand. And LA Knight, not here. Cameron Grimes, not here. But these five are. They come out for a 90. And they're not happy. Bullard says that it's a pipe dream that Big E has. a pipe dream about beating him for this Universal Championship, because the truth of the matter is, hooded figure or not, Bullard would have beaten Big E. Bullard would still be standing here today with the big blue belt over his shoulder. Because Thaddeus Bullard's earned this. He deserves this. He's waited so long, and he took his opportunity. And he says, Armageddon, the result will be the same. You can wait all these weeks. You can wait 2 more weeks. You can get to Armageddon, but the result will be the same. I will beat you. And I will retain this championship. And Big E says, why wait? Let's do it tonight. Let's do it right here, right now in San Jose. Thaddeus Bullard, Big E, Universal Championship. Crowd going crazy. Bullard saying no. No, that's not how this works. We fight when I say so. And if it's gotta be... Oh, you'd never fight me again if it was up to me, but you gotta. And so Armageddon it is, not a second sooner though, okay? Socrates piping up saying that if Big E wants to fight, then fight him. Socrates Torres issuing the challenge for Big E. Big E accepting. So tonight it will be Big E taking on one half of the SmackDown Tag Team Champions, Socrates Torres, for a 91. Socrates Torres, a big challenge there to the former Universal Champion. Big E accepting, hopefully a good match between those two. Before we have our first match of this evening, tag team action, Asuka and Doudrop teaming up to take on Chelsea Green and Aaliyah of Deanna's little group. And Asuka and Doudrop picking up the win. Doudrop pinning Chelsea Green following the elevator drop for a 65. Happy with this, decent little opener. 73 Asuka, 48 Doudrop, 42 Aaliyah, 38 Chelsea Green. No complaints, as after the match, Doudrop signalling to Deonna Purrazzo, who's on the outside, that she wants that $1 million championship. Deonna not happy, not happy about Aaliyah and Chelsea Green losing, not impressed about the idea of Doudrop coming for her title, but it doesn't look like she might have any say in the matter, as Doudrop continues to impress on the blue brand, a 69 for that post-match segment. As then we have a backstage interview with LA Knight. Kayla Braxton asking LA Knight about how he feels following his defeat last week in the Fatal 4-Way match. And LA Knight not happy, saying, what kind of question is that? We're having this match, it's all going well for LA Knight. I'm getting my championship opportunity, like the hottest free agent in professional wrestling should. And then what happens? What? Roman Reigns shows up, he disrupts my flow. And then we got Keith Lee messing around. No, when he shouldn't be there, what's he done to earn a shot? What's he done to earn a spot in the ring next to LA Knight? But no. And then Big E. Well, I'm just going to let Thaddeus Bullard deal with Big E. As for Keith Lee, though, well, wait and see. For 64 here, an ominous message for Keith Lee from LA Knight before we have the first of 2 United States Championship qualifying tournament triple threat matches. It's a hell of a mouthful, that. But yeah, on Raw, Daniel Bryan and The Miz came out on top. And we have 2 triple threat matches tonight to decide who's going to fight them. The first one right here to decide who will be taking on The Miz. It is Bronson Reed and Dolph Ziggler. It is Bronson Reed versus Dolph Ziggler versus Xavier Woods. And all 3 men, given their sterile, they want championship gold, you have to remember. Bronson Reed setting up for the tsunami on Ziggler on the top rope. Setting up to hit a tsunami on Ziggler. Standing on the top rope when Robert Roode and James Storm jump up on the apron and start attacking him. They pull the ropes, Reed going down, groin to turnbuckle. Very painful experience, I imagine. As they beat on him whilst he's on the top rope, pushing him off. He falls to the floor. Dirty Dogs taking Reed out of this match, leading fellow Dirty Dogs member Dolph Ziggler in the ring with Woods, and Dolph Ziggler getting cocky, getting confident, setting up for the zigzag on Xavier Woods. Big Xavier Woods shakes it off and hits Dolph Ziggler out of nowhere with the Lost in the Woods covering him. Before covering him for the 1-2-3, your winner, Xavier Woods. Xavier Woods progressing in the United States Championship Tournament. Xavier Woods will take on The Miz next week on SmackDown, where the winner will earn a shot at the United States Championship. A big win for Xavier Woods there. 78 for the match. Really good match between these guys. 71 Ziggler, 68 Woods, 65 Reed. Very happy with this. Bronson Reed looked like he had it, but, that interference from the Dirty Dogs costing him, and in the end benefiting Xavier Woods, who progresses further in the United States tournament. We then go backstage for an interview with Socrates, Torres. Kayla asking him why he challenged Big E like that, and Socrates Torres says that this is his time, this is his moment. He wants to prove everyone he's a main event player. He says he's got this tag gold for now, but someday he's going to be WWE champion. And he knows that someday's going to be very soon. And tonight, when he beats Big E, people are going to realise that as well. That Socrates Torres isn't to be messed with, that Socrates Torres is on another level, that Spanish Fly are on another level entirely together as well. For a 70 here. Very good work from Socrates Torres. You know, seeing himself as a future world champ, I'm sure we'd all agree Sammy Guevara is a future world champ. But Socrates Torres wanting to make an impact and beat Big E. Can he do it? We'll find out later on. As we stay backstage, Apollo Crews entering Paige's office saying that she wanted to see him, and Paige informing him that at Armageddon he will be defending his Intercontinental Championship against Johnny Gargano. Apollo Crews protests. He says Gargano's not even on SmackDown, and Paige says she knows, but she's seen all the tweets online, and as general manager she has to take action. And Gargano did have the pin as well. So the only fair thing to do is to give Gargano another opportunity one-on-one with Crews for the gold. Crews very much not happy, but there's nothing he can do for it. Armageddon, Intercontinental title, Apollo Crews, Johnny Gargano one-on-one. I'm sure that will be one hell of a match for an 84 for this segment here. Very happy with that. As we then have a promo from Shayna Baszler. Shayna Baszler issuing a warning to Ripley, saying she saw Ripley taking out Sonya last week. If Ripley wants to play her game, she can, but Shayna's not here to play games. She's here for action. And so she says she'll see Rhea Ripley next week, and she promises to bring her a very special surprise. Another ominous message tonight, this time from Shayna Baszler for an 82. Good work from her. Before we have the second triple threat of this evening, it is Keith Lee taking on Kofi Kingston, taking on Samoa Joe. Three big competitors. Kofi Kingston still nursing that injury a little bit he picked up, and going against, two absolute units in Keith Lee and Samoa Joe. So, not the funnest experience for him, I imagine, but still, all three men giving their all, even with his injury. Kofi going for this here. Samoa Joe locking the coquina clutch on to Kofi Kingston at one point. Kofi Kingston staying on his feet somehow, trying to fight out of it. Backing Samoa Joe towards the rope when King Corbin runs out and smashes Samoa Joe in the back with his scepter. Samoa Joe not looking hurt, just looking very angry as he releases Kingston, who falls to the floor, kind of clutching his throat, breathing, struggling for air, while Samoa Joe turns around and sees Corbin, who looks like he immediately regrets every decision he's ever made in his life. And then Samoa Joe leaving the ring, King Corbin running up the ramp, and Samoa Joe chasing after him. Samoa Joe kind of leaving this match to go beat up King Corbin, whilst Kofi Kingston rolls out of the ring, clutching his throat, holding his injured leg a little bit as well. The referee going to check on him whilst Keith Lee is in the ring waiting for Kingston's return, when out of nowhere from behind runs in from the crowd LA Knight. Keith Lee, unaware of LA Knight's presence, LA Knight grabbing Keith Lee from behind and hitting him with the BFD, completely laying Keith Lee out here after a brutal match he's already had with Kingston and Samoa Joe. Kofi Kingston not seeing what happened as LA Knight left the ring quickly afterwards. Kofi Kingston eventually getting to his feet after catching his breath and getting in the ring, seeing Keith Lee down, hitting him with the boom drop and picking up the victory here. Your winner, Kofi Kingston. Kofi Kingston progressing in this United States tournament. He will be taking on Daniel Bryan next week on Raw for a spot in the final, pinning Keith Lee following that interference from LA Knight. Samoa Joe leaving the match off that interference from King Corbin. Kingston left as the winner for an 86. What a triple threat match here. Really, really good work. 87 from Lee, 74 from Joe, 69 from Kingston. Kingston's, even with the injury, doing really well. 86 for the match is amazing from these guys. Really pleased. And then after the match, Xavier Woods rushing out to the ring and just hugging Kofi. Both men progressing in the tournament. Both men one step away from United States title match. Both so happy. Big E, already number one contender for the Universal title, already has his match Armageddon. Both of these men could be in the United States title match at Armageddon as well. Armageddon could end up being a very good pay-per-view for the New Day. 85 for that post-match segment. Really good. As we go backstage, Kayla Braxton knocking on Roman Reigns' locker room door, it being opened by one of the Usos, and Kayla asking Roman about last week, why he attacked John Cena, and Roman Reigns just says that John Cena wants to get into his business, so he had to get into John Cena's business. He's seen what's been happening whilst he's been gone. Jacob, Jimmy, Jay, embarrassing him, embarrassing the bloodline, embarrassing Roman Reigns' name. And so, if you want something done right, do it yourself. So, here Roman Reigns is taking out the trash. And the first piece of trash to deal with is John Cena. He says last week was just a small fraction of what he's going to do to Cena if Cena comes back. So he warned Cena to stay away. Stay away from SmackDown, stay away from the Tribal Chief's turf, and he won't get hurt. But if he does, then whatever happens, well, that's on him. For an 88 really good promo from Reigns, back on SmackDown and immediately setting his sights on John Cena. Roman Reigns and John Cena, if they go at it, an amazing match is sure to be had. And speaking of amazing matches, it's time for the main event. Universal Champion #1 contender Big E taking on one half of the SmackDown Tag Team Champions, one half of Spanish Fly, Socrates, Torres here. And in the end, after both men give everything they've got, Socrates, Torres impressing, proving he can go with top superstars here. But in the end, Big E, too much for him. Socrates, Torres going for a high-flying move, but Big E catching him in the air, transitioning him into the hold for it, and then hitting him with a big ending. Big E picking up the win here for a 90. What a match from these two. The triple threat matches, and then this really good matches this evening on SmackDown. Big E, an 83, 77 Torres. Both really doing well here. Torres hanging with Big E in the ring, but Big E picking up the win after the match. Socrates, Torres tag partner Alfonso Bourbon tries to attack Big E, but Big E takes him out as well, catches him and hits him with a big ending, laying him out before Big E stares up the ramp at Thaddeus Bullard, tells him to come down. Bullard not moving though, not looking impressed. Big E getting one over a Bullard brand member for the second week in a row. Last week LA Knight, this week Socrates, Torres and Alfonso Bourbon, as he gets closer and closer to that rematch with Thaddeus Bullard. And 81 for this segment here. Really good final few segments in this show. Overall, SmackDown this week getting an 89. Really good episode of SmackDown. Another really good week of action here. I'm really pleased. The build up to NXT Takeover, WarGames and Armageddon going really well. Hopefully, we'll keep that up next week. Big matches next week, including those US title contenders matches. Daniel Bryan, Kofi Kingston, a WrestleMania 35 rematch on Raw. Sure to be incredible, as well as The Miz and Xavier Woods. And a whole heap of other matches going on. If you're looking forward to all of that, you want to keep updated on the series, see what happens on the road to Armageddon and WarGames, and what happens at the events before. We also have the Rumble after that as well, sure to be great. Then do subscribe to the channel and like the video for more, and thank you for watching.